On Ash Wednesday, we began our 40 days journey of Lent. And these 40 days are given to us as a time of reflecting on our own lives and on our faith. The Gospel of Ash Wednesday echoed for us those three traditional exercises of fast, prayer and almsgiving as a way to motivate us during our journey. So if we take prayer for an example, prayer has always been part and parcel of all of our lives as Christians. Many of us, of course, have to admit that there are times when we find our life and our prayer hard. Some people get very embarrassed even at the subject of prayer, but then they would admit that their embarrassment comes from the fact that they don't know how to pray. And I always say to them, well, that's all right, don't worry. In fact, you're in good company. The apostles themselves had difficulty in praying. They were used to seeing Jesus going off many times on his own to pray. And so they took the opportunity one day to ask him to help them. And they said, Lord, teach us to pray. And he taught them that beautiful prayer of the Our Father. Prayer is a wonderful gift. It is that intimate moment between you and the God who made you. It's that wonderful relationship that God has with each one of us. For he is the one who calls us, and he is the one who is waiting for us to answer that call. In the sanctuary of our four churches, there is that beautiful photograph of Jesus knocking on the door. And underneath there's a caption which says, "Listen, I am standing at the door knocking." He is waiting for someone to answer. And that is what prayer is all about. It's opening ourselves and our hearts to God and allowing him to come in. Some people tell us that they don't have time to pray. They're too busy. Too busy to pray. And I'm sure you've heard that quite often. I know we as priests hear it quite regularly. In the Gospel of St. John, we have that wonderful passage about Martha and Mary, how they invited Jesus to their home. And when Jesus arrived, Martha went rushing around, doing things, making herself busy, and shouting all the time that Mary wasn't playing her part. Mary, of course, is the one who invited Jesus in, who sat down with him, who listened to him, and opened her heart to the Lord of all those things and concerns in her life. So Lent is an opportunity for us to perhaps to reflect on our own life prayer and to give some time to pray and to allow the Lord to come into our hearts. These days, most of us are restricted to what we can do. If you're like myself, we are called vulnerable adults and we're told to stay at home. So staying at home, we do have plenty of opportunities to pray. I know there's other things to do, but I'm sure there's a time in your day when you sit down just for a moment, perhaps having a cup of tea, and then maybe taking up your rosary or opening the scriptures and reflecting on a particular passage, or saying those prayers that you say every day for all those people who you promised to pray for. And then there's a time just to sit in silence I know a lot of people find silence uncomfortable, but that silence may be the opportunity that Jesus needs to tap you on the shoulder. And suddenly you find yourself conversing with him and opening your heart to him of all those things that are worrying you and all your own cares.